Medellin's changing the rules. The tourists are still coming, but the Colombian peso is getting a lot stronger. So your dollars, your euros, your pounds, they don't go nearly as far as they did before, at the beginning of the year especially. The city's cracking down on Airbnbs, foreigners being turned away at the airport, and Scopolamine robberies have exploded here over the last couple months. And now we have Black American influencers that are accusing the country of being racist and racism because most of the foreigners being turned away are black men. So what the hell is actually happening here? I've watched Medellin go from a place that most Americans can't even find on a map to being one of the biggest foreign tourist destinations in Latin America. And I watched a conversation about the city change too. It used to be, holy shit, why is this place so cheap? Now we're talking about rising costs and immigration crackdowns, Airbnb crackdowns. Basically, Medellin's dictating what kind of foreigners it actually wants here. There's my take. I don't think Medellin's killing its tourism. I think it's changing the rules about who it wants in here. Let's start with your wallet. For years, the currency here was Medellin's cheat code. You earned in dollars, you brought them here, and you could live a lot better. This isn't happening like it used to. Since January, the US dollar, Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, euro, British pound, they've lost anywhere from 18 to 35% against the Colombian peso. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. So at the beginning of the year, a dollar brought in about 3,750 pesos, a US dollar. Now it's about 3,100 pesos. So if you're bringing in $2,000 a month to Medellin, you're losing about 1.4 million pesos at today's exchange rate that you would have been having before. So same dollars, less Medellin. And it's not just Americans, it's the Canadian dollar, the British pound, the euro, the Aussie dollar. Every currency that people would be spending here has lost money against the peso. So if you're earning in foreign currency and spending in pesos, it just became a lot more expensive for you without Medellin necessarily raising prices, which it has done. And then you add on Colombian inflation on top of that. Well, here's where the story gets weird. Is that tourists are still coming. I don't want to say more tourists because that's not true. There's less tourists coming, but there's still more than there have been in the past. The city continues to report growth in international arrivals. I've heard people say it was up as much as 40% this year, which does not pass the eye test at all. It is up, but it's not up over what it was. It was growing at such an astronomical rate, like a rate like that, that now for it to grow at this pace seems like it just died, when it's not the case. Tourism brought in about 9 trillion pesos in economic activity last year alone. And foreign visitors also account for a huge percentage of tourism spending here. So it's not empty. It's not completely empty, but going to places that people frequented, like a certain park that everybody goes to pick up prostitutes, is empty. People aren't canceling their trip and saying, this place, man, I don't want to go. They're still coming. So what kind of tourist does Medellin want? This is where things get a little controversial. Colombia's been much more aggressive about certain kinds of tourism. And Migración Colombia said that roughly 190 foreign visitors have been detained this year alone. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's what they've stated. And this year they've said that more than 120 or 140 of the cases, I don't remember, were here in Antioquia at Jose Maria Cordova Airport in Rio Negro. It's a dramatic increase from last year. Granted, last year they weren't doing this as much, but it's a dramatic increase nonetheless. It wasn't a focal point. And we've seen Americans turned away after immigration officers questioned their itinerary or found evidence of them wanting to come here for sex, like excessive amounts of condoms. Bringing a few condoms is probably okay. But if you're bringing 100 condoms and panties and cameras and sex toys, what do you expect them to think? We've also seen influencers associated with the passport bro movement. They said was the king of the passport bro movement. Come on, that's not even close to accurate. Sorry, I'm not going to say your name, but you're not the king of the passport bro movement, even though your ego wants to be, you're not. And I'm going to tell you this, just like I said back in November when everybody said I was crazy and the sky is falling, the Colombian authorities have specifically pointed to using social media activity in some of the decisions. Back in November, I told you guys that they were going to start doing this, and everybody said I was crazy. Not crazy. Not happy about it, but not crazy. So let's be clear. This isn't an internet conspiracy. Colombia is changing how it handles certain foreign visitors. It's also increasing inspections of hotels and tourist apartments, and has created kind of a plan when it comes to sexual exploitation, trafficking, drugs, and theft. That last part's very important. We'll talk about that in a minute. The city isn't saying we don't want tourists. It's saying we don't want every kind of tourism. Then that means let's get into the race argument. Is it racism? Some Black American influencers are saying that it's racist, that Colombia is racist. And I'm not going to tell you that racism doesn't exist in Colombia, because of course it does. But there's a difference between saying that racism exists and saying that these immigration decisions were based solely on the fact that they're black. I don't think that's the case. We have individual cases and we have perception. We have what they're showing us. They don't give us data on this. Obviously they wouldn't. I've personally had Black influencers say to me, well, if all you white boys would stop effing and graping little kids, none of this would happen. It's all your fault. My response is simple. Yes, some white people have committed horrific crimes against this stuff, and I think that deserves the death penalty. Plain and simple. If you're a child predator, death penalty. No questions, none of that. Right to the under the prison. That's it. It doesn't make every white person a child predator. The same standard has to apply here with black tourists. There are a certain section of Black American tourists who come to Medellin, act like absolute assholes. They fuck around with drugs. They treat women shitty. They go around and videotape them and call them bitches and hoes. They come in here and they fight. They make videos about sex tourism. But that doesn't make every black tourist that guy. It doesn't. It's just the same thing. But the problem is, here's the thing. I have to answer for what the guys who share my skin color do, as do Black American tourists. We all have to. Because I'm going to tell you this. The people creating the reputations aren't necessarily the people who have to pay for it. That's where perception comes in. The overwhelming majority of Black American tourists aren't doing that bullshit. The problem is that the people creating the reputation aren't necessarily the ones that have to pay for it. It's the people that come after. That's perception. And perception definitely matters. Your perception is that Colombia is only letting people not come in because of racism. That's perception. Their perception is that, that people that look like me are child touchers or diaper bandits. People that look like you are assholes that come in and are loud and obnoxious and are here to exploit. That is perception. It sucks. The problem is that if Colombians constantly see videos portraying Medellin as a cheap playground for sex, drugs, and all kinds of ego bullshit, that affects how people see foreign men coming here. Is it fair? No. Is perception real? Absolutely. And here's a line I want everybody to absolutely think about. Nobody wants to get dunked on in their own house. You can't walk into somebody else's court and change the rules because you didn't like the call. Life isn't basketball. They can change the rules on you. And that's what they're doing. They decide who enters. They get to decide that. You don't get to come here just because you're the almighty gringo and you have a passport and you say so. They get to choose. The question isn't whether Colombia has the right to make those. The question is whether they're making them fairly. And that's what the conversation should be. So I want to know what everybody thinks about that before we continue. Let me know down in the comments if you think this is only race, or this is behavior, or this is a combination of the two. Please tell me what you think and why. And be respectful about it, because this is a very touchy subject. I hemmed and hawed about how to deal with this because of how touchy it is. But then the other part. Then there's another part which is very important, the safety issue. This is something that makes Medellin's position easier to understand. And then there's the safety problem. Well, let's talk about that because it's very important. It's tourist-targeted crime. And I'm going to be fair here. I'm going to be very fair on this one. Overall, thefts reported against foreigners is actually down significantly. That's the people getting held up at gunpoint on the street, phone robberies, pickpocketing, all that stuff's down significantly. But drugging-related robberies are going in the exact opposite direction. So while one's going down, the other is going way up like that. It's crazy. Reported cases have jumped from 227 during the comparable period last year to 428 this year. And like I've always told you guys, anytime that they talk about scopolamine robberies, you better 10x that shit. Because most scopolamine robberies do not get reported at all. You can at least 5x it, but I think 10x is more realistic. There's an 89% increase in reported cases. And I hate to tell you guys, but Poblado and Laureles are the areas getting the most cases. Those are the two neighborhoods that foreigners spend in. They're the two that most go in a lot of the time. They go on the dating apps, the nightlife, drinking, meeting strangers, flashing money. That's the environment where crimes happen typically. So I'm not going to tell you that it's all of a sudden just a huge danger place. The numbers don't support that. But the crimes that significantly target tourists are increasing, a certain percentage of tourists. If the crimes specifically targeting tourists are increasing, people are going to notice. And the government will respond. I can tell you that right now. The government's not fucking around here. Let's put all this together. Tourism's growing. It's still continuing to grow, not at the same pace, but it's growing. Foreigners are spending billions of pesos, trillions of pesos even. The city still wants them, but the deal is changing. Your foreign currency doesn't go as far as it once did. Hotels and Airbnbs are under increasing pressure, like crazy amounts of pressure. The city's tightening the rules on who it lets in. Immigration enforcement is getting tougher, more like the US. And scopolamine cases are exploding. And now we're having a very public fight over race and whether the behavior of a small number of people is creating consequences for everybody. Here's how I see it. I don't think Medellin's not losing tourism. It's losing its monopoly on some tourism. And that's a part everybody needs to pay attention to. 10 years ago, the Medellin pitch was very simple. It's beautiful. It's cheap. The weather's great. The food is great. Healthcare is great. The nightlife is insane, and your money goes a long way. But now you have options. You're not just comparing Medellin to Bogota or Cartagena. You're comparing it to Bangkok. You're comparing it to Da Nang, Chiang Mai, Kuala Lumpur, Ho Chi Minh City. All these other cities where your foreign income can buy you a very, very, very comfortable life. So the question isn't, is Medellin cheap? The question is, where does my money buy me the best life? And that's a completely different question. Because if Medellin gets more expensive, your currency gets weaker, and the rest of the world offers a similar quality of life for comparable or less money, Medellin's going to have to compete. And that's exactly what I'm doing in a couple days. I don't want to say Friday or Saturday because you don't know what day I'm filming this. So I'm going to take Medellin, I'm going to put it up head to head against 10 Asian cities competing for the same tourists, expats, and digital nomads. Similar to the way I did the 10 Latin American cities. I'm just going to make it a little more obvious. If you still think Medellin beats every city in Asia, let me know. If you've been to both, let me know. You tell me. I want to know if you agree with me or if you think I'm crazy. All right, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for the influx of subs. I'm very thankful to all of you. And if you have questions or you have anything that you want to talk about, let's do it down in the comments. Let's talk about it. But let's stay respectful, because I know that anytime you bring race into something, people get a little bit, people feel emboldened one way or the other. But let's just talk about it calmly and rationally if we can. So thank you, guys. I will see you in the next video. I'm working on it. I hope you like the 10 cities that I chose. I did a lot of research on this over the last week. And thank you for being patient with me, not expecting me to pump out videos as much as I was. But I'll see you in the next video in a couple days. Let me know what you think in the meantime. Please like the video, share it with people who may want to come here, and subscribe to the channel. And I will continue to put out as much content as I can. Thank you so much. Have a great day and a great weekend ahead.